Should turn.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Chandler, the Executive Director of the Foundation of Sacred Stream, and I'm here with Isa Gucciardi, the Founding Director of the Sacred Stream, and we are here to join in a Fall Equinox circle. And this is something that we have done regularly at the Foundation of the Sacred Stream at our center in Berkeley, and we have missed greatly since the pandemic has made it not possible for us to join together in person. So we're excited to be here. This is our first YouTube Live, so we're learning as we go. And welcome. Looks like we have some people coming on, and I'm thinking we have a chat, but I'm not seeing a chat. So if you're here and you want to let me know that you're here and that our chat's working, that would be great. Just type in the chat, I think.
All right, wonderful.
Maybe I'll type something in the chat.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay. Happy Equinox. So there you go. Eric Ramos says,
Oh,
hi,
hello,
Chandler.
Eric. Thank you. Okay, it's working.
So helpful.
Yeah.
So as Laura said, we have been honoring the equinox and the solstices since I think 1995 was the first drum circle that we started. And we haven't really missed a beat until, get it? Drum circle.
I do.
We haven't really missed a beat until COVID. And of course, we haven't been able to meet in person. And I've been doing my blog on the equinox and the solstices on the Sacred Stream site as a way of honoring the season. But we thought, we kept thinking, this will be the last time where we won't be able to meet. And then, another season would come around and there's another season where we can't meet. So we decided to stop waiting for being able to meet and have our circle to honor our relationship to the sun and to the earth together at this moment of the fall equinox.
Can I welcome some people as they come in?
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
I don't want to interrupt you. So I just want to welcome. Eric's here and Jan is here. Nova Art as Code Love is here. Shanti Yoga from Thailand is here. We're so happy. Jennifer Maitreya is here, and Jennifer gave us these beautiful scarves, and we are wearing them for this occasion. And you'll notice that I am wearing my blue scarf, and Isa didn't get it.
I've been wearing her blue scarf all week.
So welcome.
But I love my pink scarf too.
Yes.
So can I continue?
Please.
Okay. So traditionally, we have come together at the drumming circles here at the Sacred Stream at the time of the equinoxes and at the time of the solstices to honor our relationship to the sun. We remember the way the sun reminds us about the rhythm and change of nature that is happening all around us. And one way this dance can best be marked is by our observation of the movement of the celestial spheres in the heavens and the change of the seasons on the earth. And this is a dance we can engage in together here or in this circle. And the last solstice was in June, and that was the time when the sun rose in the northeast, and the days were very long. If you'll remember, it's the longest day with the solstice. It's the longest day, and since that time, the sun has been rising a little bit further and further south until now it is here. Rising pretty much. I noticed this morning when I was doing my meditation, I meditate outside, and I always sit in the same place. And it's actually something that I would recommend that you do too, and I like to meditate at dawn. So I'm always right there when the sun arises. So I noticed how much further south the sun was rising this morning. And then I realized it was due east. Like I was right due east, and I was realizing, oh, right, this is the equinox. And of course, many of you may already have observed this, but some people aren't aware of the fact that the sun actually rises to the north, far north, at this, at the time of the winter solstice. It's rising north, and then as it's coming down, it'll rise a little bit further south, a little bit further south, a little bit further south, and then it rises at the far to the south, its farthest reach at the summer solstice, right? So we're right here in the middle with the sun rising due west. So if you would like to have a practice that's aligning yourself with the sun and with the sky all throughout the year, try to find a place where you are sitting every morning. You don't have to be up at dawn, I mean, I'm kind of hardcore, but it's good to get close to when the sun is rising, and you can really watch, and it's really amazing what a huge difference it is as it's moving south, and then as it's moving north. And then we have this moment where we find the equinox. And of course, the equinox is a time when the day is as long as the night, right? And equinox means equal night, right? Mm-hmm. So the nights are as short as they can get. And then now, as the Earth moves on, the sun will continue slipping southward in its rising and setting points across the sky. And the days will get shorter and the nights will get longer. And then we're going to arrive at the winter solstice, right? So this is where we are in this dance. And, I think that many of you already know this, but the equinox is officially happening tomorrow at Pacific time, almost right exactly at noon, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
So the other thing that's happening right now in the sky is that there's a full moon, in case you didn't notice, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty bright, that moon last night, right? Yeah, I just, again, last night I sat in the moonlight as it was coming in the window and just meditated for a while. And that light of the full moon, which is, of course, the harvest moon, was really wonderful. And I'm sure many of you had that experience as well. But, in terms of the harvest moon, the reason they call it the harvest moon is, of course, because in traditional agricultural societies, this is a time when the harvest would be brought in, and it's the full moon closest to the equinox, right? And it's really important to mark the equinox. When you don't have calendars, people have lived on the earth for thousands and thousands of years without a calendar. And we are so used to, now being able to look at our phone and know, oh, this is this day.
Or a different kind of calendar.
Or
the way they track the sky.
Right. Well, the way they track the sky is by setting up markers. The way they track the season is by setting up markers on geographical markers on the earth that capture the moment. Yeah. And that is really important. And I wanted to talk about several different cultures that have very interesting monuments that create the calendar, that have created the calendar for thousands of years, because people would not know where they were in time or space because they didn't have clocks, they didn't have calendars, right? So they needed to have these markers. And of course, it's really important to know in an agricultural society, when should we be harvesting, right? Because if you have the equinox, it's going to tell you how many days you have till frost in the fall. And when you have the equinox in the spring, it tells you how many days you have till no more frost, right? Or more or less, right? So these equinox markers are super important for agricultural timing. And So because there was no calendars, there were these different markers that people would have. And I'm going to talk about a few of them in several different cultures, but it looks like we have some people that you might want to welcome.
I do want to welcome folks. So Vimala is here and Susan Frenson. Hello, Susan. Midile, Christina Renee, Dwight Harriman, My Illumination, Carolyn Lee, Allison, Vivian, Sarah, it's so good to see you, and Jenny Penny, and Michelle Turpco, and Amy. Wow, it's just so great to have you all here. It's like we've really missed Circle, and we really miss Circle, and I think it's important to gather virtually. So thank you all for being here. And while we're here, if you would like and subscribe, I'm told that's a good thing to say. You can like and subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of new videos coming out that you'll get notified for if you subscribe, and we appreciate the like. And the like helps, I think, share with other people who might be interested. I think there's some algorithm that I don't understand, nor do I really want to understand, but you know what I mean. So we appreciate it. Thank you.
And thank you to Cody, who's behind the scenes making it all happen.
And Emma and Vanita and Charisse and have also snuck in. And Lissa, thank you. Welcome.
You had said that maybe it wasn't a great idea to try to do a healing circle, but we have so many people in the community. It seems like it might be an idea to do a healing circle. What do you think?
I think maybe it's silent.
Okay. You mean to be quiet? Okay.
No, I mean, like, if people say it to themselves. I don't know if you want to. I don't know. We haven't worked that out.
All right, we can take a vote. If you all would like to do a healing circle, just put it in the chat, and we'll do it if you think it would be helpful, because it's such a difficult time. I mean, it's we're here adapting to the conditions of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that have had such a hard time, and
that's true.
Having a healing circle might really be a helpful thing.
Okay. Well, we're getting all yeses. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't let me stop.
Okay. So maybe we'll finish talking a little bit about the equinoxes, and then we'll do a healing circle, and then a meditation on the season.
Okay. Sounds good.
And for those of you that do have drums, you can drum. As for the during the keep on silent, but we can drum virtually.
We're not going to hear. It's not Zoom.
Oh, I knew that.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, we wouldn't hear that. Oh,
it's okay. They can drum as loud as they want.
Okay, great.
All right, we'll keep on.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about 3 different cultures that are very far separated from one another on the earth, that have been for thousands and thousands of years marking the trajectory of the sun. And just to tune into that, here are these markers where, whether we realize it as the equinox or not, they have been marking time. And one of them is at Machu Picchu. Of course, many of you have heard of Machu Picchu. This is this amazing city of the Incas that is in the Andes, in the Urubamba Valley in Peru. And in that city, there's a giant stone at the top of the sacred mountain called Inawatana, which means the place where the sun gets tied. And interestingly, the stone is perfectly positioned so that each corner sits at the 4 cardinal points, north, south, east, and west, at about an angle of 13 degrees north. So usually the stone casts a shadow throughout the day, the way that any other building might or any other structure might. But at noon, on the day of the spring or fall equinox, the sun's shadow disappears. And therefore, the sun is a precise indicator of the date of the 2 equinoxes. So it's interesting, the place where the sun gets tied, right? So that's important to know. Okay, we see no shadow. This is a significant moment. We must prepare for either the harvest or for the planting, right? And of course, in all traditional cultures, there's always a lot of celebration and ceremony and ritual.
Mhm.
And so also of course, the Mayans are big calendar people. And I'm sure many of you have heard of Chichen Itza.
Mhm.
And Chichen Itza is one of the most important astronomical observatories in the Americas. And there's a big important pyramid there that has a very important equinox marker on it. And many of you have probably heard of the feathered serpent or Kulkulkan. It's a very important mythological figure in the Mayan experience. And this serpent is considered to be a serpent that unites the heavens with the earth and with the underworld. And so it's a very important focal point and one of the major deities among the Mayan people. And at Chichen Itza, there's a pyramid that has, at the moment of the equinox, the feathered serpent, Kukulkan, begins to slither down the side of the pyramid. And so everything is in darkness except the light of the serpent coming down. And so that's, not only
cool.
is it an equinox marker, but we have Kukulkan among us, right? So, and of course, a lot of celebrations. And probably some of you who are watching have seen that. It's not, I haven't actually seen that myself. Have you? You haven't seen
I
that?
haven't seen that.
No. Yeah. Do you want to see and welcome anyone else before I talk about the last equinox marker?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it is making me think of all of our destination studies and the places, how the ancient peoples and Paleolithic peoples were so keyed into the sky in a way that we weren't, which is why we're doing this, which is why it's so important to reconnect. But I'm thinking of, both in, the islands of the Orkney Islands and Ireland and Brittany, but also in the American Southwest, where we've spent a lot of time. There's some amazing markers and entire towns,
complexes.
Yeah. What is Chaco Canyon? The entire thing, 30 miles long, is all measuring equinoxes, moon movements,
moon alignments,
sun, and then they'll align with other towns, many, 30 miles away and perhaps farther. So it's all designed in alignment with the sky. Right. Which is just fascinating, It's like really, like, you're at your phone, like, really look up, because there's a whole world. So
I know. Well, it's interesting because astronomy and archaeology are quite separate sciences. And so nobody ever really, I remember when I first started, being interested in Neolithic monuments, I used to spend my summers when I was studying in France. I used to spend my summers walking the ley lines on the Salisbury Plain, where Stonehenge is, and trying to understand, like, what are these circles? What are we doing? What are these ley lines? Nobody knew that at that time. That was in the early 70s. Nobody knew that Stonehenge was an astronomical marker at that point. It was like, and it was crazy. And since that time, of course, there's been all of this interest in astroarchaeology, where we're really understanding that what the ancient peoples were doing. And this is also true of the medicine wheels in Wyoming and Montana, among the Plains Indians there. They would also create a map of the sky on the earth, right? Have this connection, right?
And it really took a while for us, to be able to understand it. And there were just sort of accidental discoveries, which we don't have to go into, but they're like happy accidents that then led to these remarkable realizations about the quite complex understandings these people who came before us.
And the remarkable engineers that they
Yes,
were to
that's
be
right.
able to create these
Yeah.
monuments in such a way to
We still don't
capture these
understand
moments
it.
in
We
the
still
sky.
we still don't even we get some of it. I think we're still
Yeah.
discovering. So,
Well, the last one that I want to mention is, of course, one that probably all of you know, is the Sphinx in Egypt, right? And on the spring and fall equinoxes, there's an interesting phenomenon that happens where when you're looking directly at the Sphinx, and at sunset on the date of either equinox, and as the sun nears the horizon, you see it settle directly into the right shoulder of the Sphinx and directly into a connection with the corner of the pyramid of Khafre, which is located right behind it. So the sun is settling right between these two monuments. So again, we have a marker for the equinoxes. And so these are cultures that are very separate from one another, all observing the sky and connecting themselves with it. So that's what we're doing here today. We're continuing this tradition. And as I say, we're going to have a meditation on this theme in just a little bit, but it looks like we have a yes.
It's
yes
100% yes for the healing circle.
For the healing circle.
Good call.
Okay. So it's okay. You want me to lead that?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. So just allowing yourself to get settled and just taking a moment to connect with your breath. Watching your breath move in and watching your breath move out. And as you settle into your breath, just allowing yourself now to invite any compassionate teacher or guide that you may have into the circle, is calling their power and asking them to join us. This could be a teacher or a guide from any tradition. For those of you that have a shamanic practice, you can call any or all of your guides into the circle. And just allowing yourself now, as we're united in our intention to connect with this compassionate power, to go ahead and say the names of anyone that you feel could benefit from the power of this circle. And of course, we say their names into the circle for their best and highest good and without any attachment to outcome. But just go ahead and say the names of anyone who you feel could benefit from the power of the circle. This may be individual people or groups of people or animals or places. You can speak it out loud there where you are. Whatever name you wish. the animals who've been affected by fire, the people who've been affected by fire. Jesse, Eric, the plants that have been affected by fire. So we ask that the power of this circle be offered to all of these beings for their best and highest good. We offer this without any attachment to outcome. And just taking a moment, whenever you're ready, to simply come back to your breath. Just watching your breath move in and out. And following it as you come back out into the room on your exhale. And just taking a moment to reflect on the circle. And if you have anything you'd like to write into the chat about your experience of the healing circle, please do. And we're going to, and we'll read that out in a little bit. Is that okay? You don't
Sure.
mind doing that? Okay. Do you have any thoughts about the circle?
Oh, it felt very powerful.
Yeah.
A lot of it's which is amazing to be online and to have that power.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and think about another meditation.
Okay.
You know me.
Meditating at dawn.
So I'd like to offer a thought for the solstice, the equinox. I've been doing this for so long, and I get equinox and solstice, east and west, mixed up anytime. So actually, some people are seeing some things coming through. So maybe we should read that before we go into the next meditation.
Okay. Such a powerful and beautiful healing circle, Jenny Penny said. Barry says, wow, very powerful space being held here in this circle. Dwight says, time and space are fluid. Cherise says, beautiful circle this evening. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Athena says, thank you. Mark and I are here. That was a lovely healing circle. Hi, FS community. Love you. And Michelle says, beautiful, very calming energy. Brangwin says, thank you for the healing circle. So strong. And Jen says, this circle felt very healing and very powerful. Yeah.
So glad. I think it's important to, especially during these times where we can't physically come together, to really remember that we can be together in spirit in a very real and palpable way, and that we are, and it's nice to have this moment to remember that together.
Yeah. And Christina Renee says, so much clear light, so beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for your presence. Mm-hmm. And I think when we return to in person, we will make a point of doing making doing a combination of online. So we'll be able to have the online community, people who can't be in person at the center, also be able to join us for our regular drumming circles in person. We'll do a hybrid version. And I think that's a positive thing to come out of the pandemic. So we're grateful for that. Emmy says, felt great and wide and deep. Thank you.
Great, wonderful.
Meditation.
Okay, so as we mentioned, this is the equinox, not the solstice. And and at this equinox, as we've mentioned, there's also a full moon. We're just on the other side of the full moon now.
May I read one more thing?
Sure, please.
MJ Lucy says, one of our cats that has to have surgery came and sat on my lap. Thank you so much. Oh, so grateful. That's great. Lovely. That's lovely. Oh. Cats know. They really get energy. They really do.
Okay. All right. So I'd like to offer a theme. Now, again, if you have your drum and you'd like to drum during this time, please do. And if not, you can meditate. We'll be here meditating. Should we? No, we shouldn't.
No.
Okay. Sure.
It's just loud. I don't know that I can manage the sound of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it could be quite annoying to folks.
Okay. Sorry.
But I think you're leading the meditation, right?
Oh, that's true.
So for people who don't know how to journey, then right.
Good point.
Okay. Back on track.
Okay. I'm just looking forward to drumming with all of you again. So again, at this equinox, there is a full moon. So the reflection I'd like to offer you has something to do with that full moon and with the equinox. Mm-hmm. So just allowing yourself to get settled. And once again, just noticing where your breath is. Watching your breath move in and watching your breath move out. And if any other thoughts should come into your mind other than the focus on your breath, just let them pass through like clouds passing through the sky. And come back to your breath. And as you settle into your breath, just allowing yourself to remember once again this moment here of perfect equilibrium between the day and the night. Remembering this is a time when the night is as long as the day. And there's a balance between light and darkness. Just allowing yourself to feel that equilibrium, that moment of balance between the light and the dark, between the day and the night. And as we are here with the full moon, allow the moon to illuminate any place within you that may not be able to align with this balance. We all have difficulty being in balance from time to time. And just allowing the light of this moon to shine within you to help you see where you might be out of balance. And of course, this is something that you would approach with a great deal of compassion for yourself. Any place where you might feel, or any place within you that may be a little bit out of balance, just allowing the light of the moon to illuminate that within you. And then as you identify this place within you or places within you, just allow yourself to bring them into that alignment with the equinox, that feeling of balance that this moment offers us. And just bring the power of the balance that is expressing itself in the sky and all around us into that place that may be a bit out of balance. And just asking for help in bringing that into balance. And asking as you do this for any specific practices that you might do on an ongoing basis to keep that balance. But for now, just feeling those places within you that are a bit out of balance, aligning with the power of this equilibrium between the day and the night, between the light and the dark. Just allowing the power of this moment to help you bring these places into alignment and to offer you practices that you can do to maintain this alignment. And just feeling the power of this equilibrium moving through this issue and moving through you, feeling that alignment on a physical level, on an emotional level, on a mental level, and on a spiritual level. And just knowing that you can engage in any practice you've been shown to help you maintain or perhaps work toward greater balance. And just feeling the power of this moment, this meeting place of day and night, supporting you and supporting your inner balance. And then whenever you're ready, just coming back to your breath. And just resting in your breath, watching it move in and watching it move out. And then just following your breath back out into the room on your exhale and just feeling the surface under you again. You may want to take a moment to just come back fully into the room. You may want to stretch a bit. Just taking a moment to go ahead and open your eyes. You may want to write a few thoughts down. And if there's anything that you'd like to write into the chat, please do. And I was thinking that one of the things that we might do, if you're interested, is to spend some time after you've had a moment to talk about balance and how to maintain balance. And if anyone has any questions or any comments or anything about what it means to be in balance, what it is, what it is to maintain equilibrium, and any questions you may have about challenges in doing that, or thoughts about how easy it is. I would not have a thought about that. How easy it is. I think balance is you can feel, I don't know, maybe I'll go ahead and share.
Please.
The thing that I was really aware of in the meditation was the delicate moment, the just the precious moment of balance.
Mm-hmm.
It's a short time.
Mm-hmm.
It's 24 hours, and it's a short moment where this is demonstrated to us, and I feel like we have to really pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any thoughts on the chat?
Well, Amy would love to hear more about balance. And Keiko says, great feeling, thank you.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
So yeah, please feel free to put your thoughts in the chat. Kelly says, I'd love any thoughts on maintaining balance through struggles, physical injury. I recently sustained another concussion. Wow.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And Vimala says, through breath, I breathe with all creatures, allowing harmony of the equinox from the full moonbeam embrace birds, plants, insects, and all beings on the planet. Antonia says, how do you stop yourself from running with crazy thoughts and anything I can do? And Barry says, tears are streaming. I saw us in a circle at the sacred stream, embraced in her love. Mm-hmm. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
So, lot there.
Okay. So, in terms of, how do you maintain balance and how do you stop the chatter, right? Mm-hmm. That is a challenge. Mm-hmm. And I think that first of all, I think that knowing that balance is possible is really important, which is why it's so important to just pay attention to the teachings of the earth. The earth is showing us there are moments of balance. There are moments where everything is the same in terms of light and dark. And I think, returning to nature and being available for her teachings. Mm-hmm. I know myself, and I know this is true for so many of you that are here because I know you well. And, that there is a way in which the earth really brings you home. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so to know that, yes, as imbalanced as I'm feeling right now, I know balance is possible, that to imagine that balance is attainable. Mm-hmm. And then to show up for this teaching that the earth is giving, the preciousness of balance, mm-hmm. This moment of balance. And so, and so that's one thing you can do. Now, in terms of getting your mind to settle, it is a challenge for all of us. Mm-hmm. And I think a short practice watching your breath every day is really helpful. And, of course, if you can do, more than a 5-minute meditation on your breath, that would be really helpful. We do have the shamatha meditation on the website, and I think it's free. It's free.
Yeah, you can download that.
So you can download that.
I mean, it's a little interesting because the shamatha meditation is a breath meditation. So obviously it's not a guided meditation technically, but Isa offers a guide into helping you focus as you prepare to do your breath meditation. So she gives you a container for that and helps you settle and move into it. So that's the degree of guidedness that's offered. And I think it's really helpful for folks. So that's free on the website. Cody will put it up there so you can find it.
I think of it as helping you, walking in with you.
Yes, yeah,
that's what exactly. I think. Like
and breathing,
walking in with you. So sometimes it's nice to have somebody walking, beside you. Mm-hmm. Right. So that would be really important to do on a regular basis to try to get your mind to settle. And one of the things that I talk about in the Applied Buddhist Psychology class, Entering the Stream, where we really do a lot of shamatha meditation together, one of the things that I always say is that it's better to have a short, focused practice than a long, unfocused practice. So I don't know. Found that to be true in your practice.
Definitely. I was just going to read some more comments. Emmy asks if you can speak on finding balance when grief is consuming the heart. Cherise says she also saw a visual of the circle and felt the balance within and how the opposing sides are continuously dancing with each other. How it feels like it's moving, like time and season. And Benita says, I'm starting to see how focus feels integral to balance.
That's a really good insight.
And I think kind of the feeling I had with this meditation, the balance is, have you ever seen that barrel? And then there's a board on it, and if you go too far, you'll tip here. If you go too far, and it's like you're finding your balance on this thing that's always a little bit teetering, and that balance is part of a practice, because there's always things that can move you in and out of balance. And so that's part of the practice of being in balance.
Okay, that's helpful. Of course, Laura is probably one of the best coordinated people I know.
Not hard to do, Isa.
I don't know. I cannot imagine trying to balance on that board. I would be all over for me pretty quick on a physical level, but on a mental level, I do a little bit better.
No, on a mental level, you're right there. You're right.
But Laura would be able to, just like that.
I would enjoy instantly.
That.
Yeah. So. Cherie says yes. Michelle says, beautiful, lots of tears. How do we stay steady and in balance in the presence of others suffering? And Jen said, Laura, I had the same image of the seesaw.
Yeah, that's great. So you have this question about staying in balance in the presence of your own grief and also in other people's grief and suffering. And, one of the themes that we often explore, in addition to this issue of balance that we're looking at right now with this equinox, is the issue of equanimity, right? Mm-hmm. And, I know this is a difficult thing to attain. And basically what equanimity is practicing being completely non-reactive in the face. It's not like you're checked out or indifferent, but you are non-reactive in the face of something that's happening, and you're practicing coming back to the balance, coming back to the place of non-reaction. And this is something that we explore again in the Applied Buddhist Psychology class called The Enlightened Mind, because equanimity is an aspect of the enlightened mind. And when, the truth is, when we are doing the shamatha meditation, there are 3 principles that you want to try to attain when you have come to your breath. And these are 3 principles that are sort of at the heart of what is often called mindfulness practice. And mindfulness is kind of like this catch-all phrase now, but in the West, but in the traditional practice, mindfulness has three important aspects to it: awareness, attention, and acceptance. So that is a hard thing to do, to be aware of everything, to be paying attention to everything, and to accept what is happening. And this is a type of training, internal training, that helps fortify us. And I was listening to, I'm teaching a class on yoga and Buddhism for embodied philosophy next spring. And I don't know enough about yoga to luckily I'm just
the philosophy.
I could do philosophy, but I never looked very good in the yoga outfits, so I never really got into that. But
you do yoga.
I do yoga, but I do qigong mostly. Yeah. So, so it's not. I'm of course I understand Vedic science. I've studied Vedic science extensively, right? And that's where I'm going to be speaking from when I teach the class. But I've been listening to different yoga theorists to gain more insight. And there's this guy named David Frawley, and he was giving a very interesting lecture on psychological immunity.
That's interesting.
And, we all know what physical immunity is, but developing psychological immunity is sort of what Buddhists would call mind training. And as you're developing this awareness, this attention, this acceptance, and practicing non-reactivity, you are making your mental, emotional immune system stronger, right? You become you have more forbearance, you have more ability to maintain in the face of obstacles. And so I think that, this would be a helpful practice. And also, in terms of working with your own grief, like there's an article, I think, there's a blog, there's a talk in the blog that I did on grief and loss. And it's in the blog, on the Sacred Stream website. That might be helpful to listen to.
There's also a podcast.
Oh, there is a podcast.
Yeah, so that's from the conference you did.
On
reimagining
right.
death, or reimagining
end
of life. Yeah, that's a lovely. It's called Buddhist Perspectives on Death, and Isa gives a lovely talk.
Okay, so maybe that could help you
That's
there.
Yeah.
And the grief and loss class is coming right up, if that's helpful to you.
So we have a couple more things in the chat, and we're kind of getting up on the hour, so we should start wrapping up. And
sorry, I get going.
No, not at all. No, I just am alerting
thank you for
since I have no
managing that.
and a special way to do that other than say it. So, and I'd also like to make just a couple of announcements that I think are really exciting. So I'm going to let everyone know.
Yeah.
So Christina Renee says, my breath in the meditation began to flow from right to left in the shape of an infinity sign for a long time. My whole body relaxed and I felt deep resting and inner peace. And Athena says, interesting, when I teach people how to balance in yoga, it helps to set your eye line on the horizon, just feeling how important that is on another level.
That's so helpful.
It's nature's balance point, and that's true. So, so thank you all so much for joining us for this Equinox Circle. And just a few upcoming things that we're very excited about. Robert Thurman will be giving a talk on October 23rd on his new book, Wisdom is Bliss. So we're excited to welcome him back. This will be an online registration. It's a fundraiser for Tibet House and our Computers for Kids program. And on the 20th of November, we are honored to have Kinsur Rinpoche Thupten Tenzin, who is the former abbot of Kyoto Monastery in Dharamsala, giving a talk. And we're so just so happy to have him back. He's done talks with Sacred Stream before, and he's just a wonderful, wise teacher of Tibetan Buddhism, a very realized Lama. And in December, on the 11th, Thupten Jinpa will be back to also give a talk. And we have some other things that we're excited about that'll be coming in the spring, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself. So
we have so much coming in the
it's
spring.
So good.
Wait till you hear. Oh, it's so exciting.
So thank you all for being here. We wish you well. And we are going to do this again for the winter solstice. Why not? It's fun.
Yeah.
It'll be dark. It'll be dark at this time when we do it. So
and we will have another healing circle.
And we definitely will do another healing circle. That was great. It worked out. So thank you all, and we'll see you soon. Okay, be well.
Thank you.